Got him on the track, boy.
Okay? Okay?
Got him on the track, boy.
Okay?
Got him on the track, boy. Got him on the track, boy.
Okay?
Got him on the track, boy. Got him on the track, boy. Got him on the track, boy.
Tu vois pas que tu m'énerves?
Okay? Allen Beats. Allen Beats.
All right. Good evening, everybody. It looks like, well, first of all, thank you for joining me today. We have a Division E West playoff matchup between Nerd Herders and Private Potato. It looks like both teams are about to get ready. We're going to be going first to Tomb of the Spider Queen. And this was selected by Private Potato. So as we saw in the standings, this is a matchup between the top-ranked team in Division E West, Nerd Herders, and, quote, the bottom seed. And I say that with quote because, as always, I always tell people, because of the way HOTS is, it doesn't matter what seed you are. As long as you're in, you have a chance. And I've seen and been part of top seeds that have lost to, quote, lower seeds. So you always have to be on your best game, no matter what, especially in the playoffs. So, Tomb of the Spider Queen being selected by Private Potato. We see the first band coming out on Stukov and Anduin, which is not surprising, again, in Division E. Overall, both E and West and E East. Stukov and Anduin are highly contested. Next, we do see a ban on Li Ming. And very interesting is, overall, you would say this is Ming's, not one of Li Ming's best maps, just because her orbs get blocked by minions and such. We do see Orphe being banned out on the side of Private Potato. And with the first pick, we do see Brightwing. And again, Brightwing, another highly contested healer. So we see the pretty much two of the three highly contested healers in Division E being banned out. And then right away, locking in Brightwing on the side of Nerd Herders. We see Sonya and Blaze coming out from the side of Private Potato. And again, Sonya, overall, even though there's been slight nerfs over time, Sonya has been really strong. Her W build has been really good. Blaze, overall, a solid tank. And then we see Asmodan and Vala being locked in. And actually, I mean, it seems like both these teams had a plan. They're selecting them. I'm having to catch up with the picks, actually. And Asmodan, obviously, king of Siege. If all of you probably know how annoying it is to play in an Asmodan on quick match. With the second round of bans, we see Private Potato banning out ETC. ETC getting slight buffs to his single or his offlane build, but again, still a very solid pick here. We see a Kel'Thuzad ban. Very interesting. Again, I haven't had an opportunity to watch Division E West too often, That seems like more of a targeted ban. Whoa. We're seeing a heavy front line, to say the least, on the side of Private Potato with a Sonya, Blaze, Tyrael, and a variant. And if you are a nerd herders, you have to think of how do we deal with such a beefy lineup. You see Johanna coming through. And Leo, I was gonna say, you have to have a Leo with this. Like, it's almost guaranteed. We do see that being brought up. And then a no healer. Very spicy indeed. I mean, this is like we're gonna go all in comp on the side of Private Potato, and I mean, obviously they played before. Nerd Herders did well. Actually, Nerd Herders, I believe, were undefeated in their season. So I guess Private Potato's like, why try to play fair? Well, we can try and play a comp that you probably haven't practiced against it. When team scrimmage, this is likely a comp you wouldn't see besides a quick match, right? And we know how those go. And I have to say, kudos to Private Potato. They're definitely going to bring the show on and bring a very interesting comp. Let's see how it pays off. I mean, it's definitely a comp. Most of everybody except Kerrigan has pretty good sustain, right? And it was to start by introducing the teams. We do have Arco on the Johanna, Rusty on the Brightwing, me, Ding on the Vala, Robbie Black on the Asmo, and Mosley on the Leo on the side of Private Potato. Dr. Huxtable on the Tyrael, Dr. Swole on the Varian, Varun on the, I don't know if I'm saying that correctly, the Kerrigan, Nice Beaver on the Sonya, and Dr. Hux. Wait, did I say that? Never mind. Who did I miss? Oh, Artful Dodger on the Blaze. I'm so distracted by these comps and these picks, but you know what? Playoffs is the time you can't hold back, correct? And Mosley going in, and right away, Leo getting focused. Brightwing be able to save. Mosley able to get away with about 180 XP, but Rusty not so lucky, and right away. And this is something, if you are nerd herders, you may think, yeah, this is a meme comp, but they are pretty strong early, right? I mean, Kerrigan is a pre-10, champion. Very well pre-10. So even though it seems like a meme, you have to respect it because, again, this map can get snowbally if you let it get snowbally. So, but it seems like both teams are settling down. Dr. Huxtable mid lane with Kerrigan and Blaze harassing the Leo bottom lane, making life difficult. We do see them, her nerd herders pushing the top lane. So this is going to be very interesting because very strong early. Once they get level 10s, I'm going to be curious what type of variant is. Obviously, it has to be a taunt variant is the best variant. No matter what variant you play, taunt variant is the best. Especially with Kerrigan and Sonya, you have to provide that beef up. We'll see. We might see a smash. But you do also have to respect Asmo. Asmo's going to be scaling forever and ever. So you do have to respect that. They're able to wave clear rather quickly. And what do we get? We have a Twin Blades variant. Obviously, we probably would have noticed that with the High King's Quest. We have Harkin Giant's Bane. Thanks for the follow. Welcome to the dark side. Hope you enjoy the match day. Anyways, again, Private Potato, for the most part, they can bully early on, right? There's not much Johanna can do early, pre-10. With a Kerrigan, you have to respect the Kerrigan. See, Kerrigan coming in, getting the stun, be Brightwing coming in and be able to save the... But just like what I said, you're going to have to respect this comp pre-10. After 10, if you're able to get a lead, then you can do different things. But, I mean, we have the perspective. We have the rain coming in, and mostly being able to get out with the Wraith Walk. The side of Nerd Herders able to pick up their camp. They do have 22 gems on Johanna, so Johanna looking to turn in. But Dr. Hobbs table able to watch and not allow that to happen. And Johanna look, like, they don't have poke, but they have a comp that just can go all in. And again, like I said, early on you have to respect that. Johanna able to pop the trait, but getting body blocked. Doesn't matter if you're unstoppable if you can't get through the bodies. But able to get away. But as we see the match go on. Oof, illegal skin being used. Yes, sir. Oh, the Tyrael skin. Yeah, that's right. Well, it's past 2 minutes. So that's something that should have been brought up. Honestly, I'm one of those individuals who's just like, I don't have a problem with any skin. I understand why some skins are being banned. But it is what it is. It's past 2 minutes. It can't ask to change now. We do see Nerd Herders being able to pick up the first turn-in, and the Blue Rivers are coming down now. And this is something that Private Potato is going to have to mitigate. They don't have the best siege and wave clear. So that's something that Private Potatoes is going to have to, put pressure, because you let that as much as siege, depending on what the level 10 is going to be. Vala, they have a lot of pressure they can put on, as we see right away. Oh, Kerrigan actually being picked off by exactly what? I know Kerrigan was low. I don't know if it was an orb or Johanna. And again, Varian just not able to go in when he's low, and also going down as well. And again, they're able to get top. They're also able to get mid. Bottom is safe, but on this map, if you don't get a tower, getting mid and top is fine. If you get, if you didn't get bottom. So right away, we see Nerd Herders being able to get very good value out of the first turn in, getting a top tower and mid tower out of the first turn in is pretty big, because typically what you see in part of the strategy that many teams do in this particular map is we'll let the other team turn in first. They'll get the weak first wave, right? And then we get to do the second and potentially second and third turn-ins with a lot stronger waves. But because of the siege potential that Nerd Herders have, they got a lot of value from the search turn-in. They picked up 10. We actually see Terry going down. I think they were contesting bottom siege camp, and with level 10s on the side of Nerd Herders, Private Potato maybe has to play a little careful. We do have quite a hefty amount of gems on Blaze and Sonya, so they have to be careful. That's, at least half of the turning right now at this point. We just even pick up the Bruiser. They're trying to get some help on the... But actually, Nerd Herder's able to get enough for their second turn-in. And so if you're Private Potato, this is where you're like, okay, we have, a lot of gems between Blaze and Sonya. We have to play super careful. They have 10, so let's look at 10 real quickly before they engage. We do see Falling Sword, Emerald Wind, March of the Black King, Rain of Vengeance, and Tide of Sen. On the side of Private Potato, we see Combustion, Sanctification, Ultralisk, Leap, and Shield Wall on the side of Varian. Bottom tower, I should say, is going to be going down. So I imagine Sonya... Oh, Blaze. I imagine they have to back off. We do see... Ooh, those gems are going to be in danger. He does go down. Sonya able to pick... No, Sonya's not able to pick him up. And Sonya actually goes down as well. Are they able to get... Vala goes down as... Tyrael trying to go in and get some of the gems. And that hurts quite a bit if you are Private Potato. Yeah, that hurts quite a bit, obviously. We see Arco backing off, probably going to try to get some mana. If they lost, I think they were able to get some, if I'm not incorrect on this, but they literally lost over 50 gems, it seems like, which hurts. They still have a turn in, but they had like a turn in and a half or more. So we see Potato looking to turn in. Leo getting snuffed out. He backs off. To counter the push from Potato, we see the Bruiser Camp being picked up by Nerdherders. Very good timing on their part. And so, if you are Potato, I mean, they're engaging with 13's advantage for Nerdherders. And yeah, that's something that I was going to say. You might want to be careful on that, but I guess they saw something they liked and they went in, and that's what happens, right? I always feel like I can't criticize teams because a lot of these are snap decisions, and you're like, hey, let's go in and stuff like that. And I always say, you know, quote making the... If everybody's making the quote the wrong decision, it's better than everybody's... You know, we have 4 different right decisions going on, right? I think overall as a team, it's better if everybody's doing the same decision even if it's wrong. They all went in, obviously, being down a talent tier. They were at a disadvantage. You see them right away move down to try and get the siege camp. Nerdherders having enough gems. Yeah, everybody with Leo and Arco and Mosley, they're going to get that turn in. So they're having the 3rd turn in for Nerdherders. And we'll see Potato trying to get pressure bottom, but they have to be careful. They have to be mindful that Nerdherders are rotating down. We see a lot of buttons, but and I was so a lot of damage coming out, and we do see a full team wipe and ace coming out on the side of Nerdherders. Not surprisingly, especially with 16 on his line. And now, I expect Nerdherders to get quite a bit of value out of this. All 4 lanes are pushed. They're threatening mid keep. We're not going to be seeing Private Potato for about 10 or so more seconds. Completely as 5. Mid's going to be going down. And then top. You're going to get pressure. Bottom's going to get pressure. We see through the engage. But, very good engage on the Kerrigan. Able to pick off actually the Vala. And the Joe. I mean, even though you're up. You do have to respect that, right? I think most of the ults on the side of Nerdherders were down. 12-minute game. Not quite, but all keeps are down. All keeps are down. All towers and keeps are down on the side of Private Potato. So they're definitely going to have to work back into this if they want to earn that. We do see Nerdherders trying to turn in what they have. They don't have enough, but whatever you turn in, it helps. And we have 37 gems on the side of Private Potato. I would have honestly just said, I guess it works out. You know, it's you're so pushed far back. I would have said, you know what, at this point, let's just go for boss. Let's see if we can bait something out. See if we get some kills. Because you know her just posturing around it. Leap. Was that a blind leap? Or did you see this? I don't know, but Invulnerable coming out. Sanctification. We do see the Emerald Wind come out on Brightwing. Kerrigan running back very low. Teriel goes down. Kerrigan trying to engage again. Vala was so low, but able to survive for a while. Goes down. We see Teriel, Kerrigan, Sonya, and Blaze, and again a full team wipe and ace. And at this point, if you're Nerd Herders, you have, I think, plenty of time, especially with an Asmo, to end this. Only the top lane is pushed in, but you have to imagine that this is probably GG. Yeah, Terry's gonna be coming up, then Kerrigan. Obviously, we do see the GGs coming out. All right, and it is indeed GG on the side of Nerd Herders. So you take game 1. So overall, very dominant showing on the side of Nerd Herders again. Actually, I need to update this real quickly. My casting overlay controllers have been messed up the past couple weeks, and I've opted not to mess with it until the end of the season, just because it works. It's fine. A couple features are not available, but as long as the show goes on, right? But we did see that this was picked by Private Potato. However, we do see that Nerd Herders were able to take this. Overall, 18-6, the kill count. And they were able to get back-to-back turn-ins. And again, as I said, this is a map where some of the strategy is we'll let the team turn in first, and then we'll try to get a double turn in second and third. But if you don't have the ability to do so, it can get out of hand, right? This is N-Team. I don't know if it's N-Team. But I will say that the longer the fight went, the more I favored Nerd Herders, right? They have a healer, they have Brightwing, they have Leo, they have Johanna. So this is a team fight that literally had to end right away if it were to favor Private Potato. We do see, right away, we do have them picking Inferno Shrine, so we're going to be moving over. But I did want to show you the stats and talents for you to review real quickly. As far as, well, we didn't get to 20. 14-minute match, but as far as I see, nothing. We did see a multi-shot. Vala has become more popular. The variant, I was surprised actually. I was expecting a taunt variant or maybe a smash variant. I think a smash or taunt variant might have helped a little bit more. But I guess with this comp, they're just like, we're just gonna go all in and try and blow up what we can. Anyways, let me switch over. Get prepared for our next match, and looks like let me see. We are going to be going to Inferno Shrines. Between the Harkin, there's so much CC. Oh yeah, there's just a lot of CC. You're right. And between the Bitewing trade, Joe trade, Leo, Wraithwalk, there's just literally no way they can lock down anybody from Nerd Herders for a long. Yeah, and that's even if it didn't have those other traits, just with the Joe's falling sword, can negate a lot, right? So I like what Private Potato was trying to do, but like Joe negates a lot of that. Brightwing negates a lot of that. Leo's last pick, which probably shouldn't have been a surprise. I'm trying to get info on who picked the map before we get forward. We're going to be going to Cursed. Nerd, okay. So we're going to be going to Cursed Hollow. It was picked by Nerd Herder. So we are going to have Private Potato picking first. And looks like we're going to be going in now. Oh! I said Cursed Infernal Shrines. You know, same thing. Cursed Hollow Infernal Shrines. Very similar. But we are going to be going to Infernal Shrines for Game 2. And again, I like I mentioned with Private Potato, I like what they were trying to do, but it's like a very high execution comp, right? It's like, okay, we have to go in, blow up one member, maybe two members of Nerd Herders, and then back off, right? You just don't have the sustain to be in there for a long fight. We do see Orphea being banned out again on the side of Private Potato. They were going to be picking first this time. Nerd Herders ban out the Stukov. And again, often what we see in these matches is like a lot of the similar picks. Teams come in with their scouting and their research, and they're like, "Hey, this is not what we do. We don't want to deal with this," and etc. Let's see if it changes. We see Brightwing being banned out this time on Private Potato. And then Anduin. So again, we have the top 3 healers overall in Division E being banned out. So it looks like our healers, in general, are gonna have to learn to play a different healer this match. Kel'Thuzad. So that's what I mentioned last time. We saw Kel'Thuzad ban, instantly being first picked by Nice Beaver. So obviously that was a target ban, and we'll see how Nerd Herders respond. We Sonya. Lucio. Sonya again, a very good hero on this map. You're able to do damage on opposing team. All the while you can do damage on what they call, I guess, like monkeys or so of the objective of Infernal Shrines. So you get to do damage on the opposing enemy team heroes and do the objective at the same time. So any hero that can do that obviously has great value. Hogger, Diva, etc. We see Soul, and again the Blaze. So they're opting to get the Blaze again. Zol, your traditional, double soaker, bringing a lot of pressure if he's allowed to bring pressure. So again, a rather beefy, and then we see a Tyrande. Although Tyrande overall doesn't seem like a great healer, Tyrande actually is, I believe right now, if you look at Storm League, that one of the top win rates healers. It's a healer that requires a lot of skill, and I think it's kind of like Kerrigan, a healer that if we see is picked, is probably in a coordinated comp. We see a Leo ban, which is interesting because they already have Sonya, but we've seen the bruiser lineups with Sonya or double bruiser or triple bruiser with a tank or with a Vala. So we've seen that before. Maybe that's something they picked up on. They did ban that Leo. We see Johanna again picked up by Arco, and Ding picking up Tassiter. Taskmaster again, a hero that, if left alone, can do a lot of damage, right? And it's going to be very interesting. The question's going to be, can Kel'Thuzad land the combos? Because it's a skill shot based hero. Kel'Thuzad is one of those heroes where it doesn't make a difference, or it can just make your day miserable. We see a Ragnaros and a Deckard being picked up, so we see a very beefy lineup, which I think you would like to see with a Kel'Thuzad. Zol being able to provide a route. You can have the follow-up from Blaze. Ragnaros is a very underrated bruiser. I mean, I'm just, self-plugging myself. At some point, I was the number 2 rag on Heroes Profile at some point last season. But yeah. And Nazebo, of course, is... So we are seeing a, quote, double mage on the side of Nerd Hunters, with a, quote, mage Kel'Thuzad and a mage bruiser in Ragnaros if he decides to go E-build. I would imagine he may want to go E-build as a Ragnaros, but we'll see. We don't see any switches. So as far as initial reactions to this, I like this comp a lot better than, first of all, they have a healer, right? This time. Prime Potatoes, okay, we need some sort of hero. They have a lot of wave clear. So with Zol, Ragnaros, Blaze, they have a lot of wave clear. If they're able to work with that, they can do a lot. Ragnaros is a very hard hero to siege into. Can erase a lot of mistakes. So I'm just seeing how this works out. We have Arco on the Johanna, me, Dean on the Tassiter, Rusty on the Lucio, Robbie Black on the Sonya, and Mosley going to be playing actually the Nazebo. So, and on the side of Private Potato, we do have Rune on the Deckard Payne, right? Dr. Swole on the Ragnaros, Artful Dodger on the Blaze, Dr. Huxtable, or Huxtable, I should say, on the Zul, and Nice Beaver on the Kel'Thuzad. We see the mid lane meeting, the traditional mid lane meeting. Right away, Zul using his root on, I believe, was Tassiter, but Blaze coming in, missing the stun. But overall, health bars getting low on the side of Nerd Hunters. Kel'Thuzad likely wants to be around where all the heroes at. We see Arco rotating kind of aggressively, maybe trying to prevent that rotation. So the break coming out. Johanna Saba comes out. Being able to find. So right away we see Nerd Hunters get a slight advantage on the rotation just because of Johanna being able to disrupt that rotation. Interestingly, we do have Mosley on the Nazebo on the off lane with Dr. Soul. So I will keep an eye on this as far as like talents. We do see it looks like a Q build Ragnaros, which is valid. But if you're going to be offlane against a Nazebo, that's going to be rough, right? It's going to be rough to get value from that. We do see both teams right away moving over to get their siege camps. Arco coming over to check to see what's going on. Sees and that they're there, but backs off. With Kel'Thuzad rotating up as well. Both teams picking it up about the same time. We're having our traditional ARAM skirmish going on in the mid lane, and however, again, Nerd Hunter is able to get a little bit slight ahead. Arco rotating again very aggressively as a Johanna. You know, I don't think Arco's very scared about the threat of dying, so he's able to rotate aggressively. Engaging on Nice Beaver. Nice Beaver has to be careful. Looks like you get... Oh! Goes down. First blood going down on the side of Nerd Herders. But, yeah, you have to be careful. They... Especially for that Tacitor. He's able to get that Q on you. Give me quite a bit of damage. We have the first objective being bot lane. And right away, we see the Seed Champ being picked up by Nerd Herders. None of the teams got their own Bruiser camp. Surprisingly, this would have been actually really good value. So I'm surprised neither team tried to do it. Especially such early in the game that the Bruisers can get a lot of value, but given rotations and such, they opted not to go for them. But we're seeing the wall coming out, Blaze engaging, catching about 3 or 4 members of the Nerd Herders, but not much of a follow-up. And again, Kel'Thuzad has to stack. We do see Zold going down, unfortunately, but with 3 Bruisers, and we've seen early Molten Core being used on the side of Private Potato, which I think isn't too bad. Maybe you want to save that. Again, this is a Arcane Punisher, so maybe it's fine. I think Dr. Soul is trying to secure some of the monkeys on the objective, but Nerd Herder's able to get it up, get at least the wall jump coming through, followed up with a wall from the Artanis. The Tacitor. We do see Loser going in. Loser had to be careful. And Blaze with 74 HP does go down to the Sonya. So actually, again, Nerdherder's able to get quite a bit of value out of the first Punisher. And it was an Arcane Punisher. Not one of the best. But they have enough siege and pressure that they were able to get quite a bit of value. Zol has to be careful. You see the rotation coming in. And it looks like Zol's going to be going down. We do have Rag top. And then now I would say Rag has to be careful, right? It looks like Nazeebo's going to be responding to that. Dr. Soul backing off. Arco positioning themselves rather aggressively, looking to see if Private Potato will be looking to get their camp. No one checks the bush. So the members of Nerd Herders know that they're there. Okay, Johanna goes in. Does her condemn. And we do see 3 members of Private Potato going down. And with level 10s online, I would think you would want to be a little more careful, but let's see what the level 10s. We do see Fallen Sword, High Five, Archon, Ravenous Spirit, and Leap from Nerd Herders. And, well, let's talk. Enzo got engaged on and also goes down. Looks like Nerd Herders are going to be able to secure mid tower. Kel'Thuzad not able to do much. And what's the stacks on the Kel'Thuzad? 18 stacks. So a little bit over halfway, but again, one of those matches that you start running out of time if you let it. And the Gage leak going in. Kel'Thuzad instantly deleted with the Blaze. Getting low, but able to walk away. If you're Rag, you have to be careful, right? You have to be mindful of this interaction going on mid. And the fact that they can dive you top tower, you're not super as safe as you would think. Oh, but our regulars come back. This pop Molten Core to dissuade the push. But Nerd Herders opted to say, we saw enough. We got what we wanted. We'll leave. So we'll have Molten Core being on cooldown for quite a bit, with the members of Nerd Herders moving down to get the siege camp to get some pressure. They showed, so Captain Potato obviously saw they're down there. They got the camp. What I would say that if you see situations like that, Private Potato I would say has to take advantage. But Zol has to be careful. They were visible bot lane. He pops Nova. So did you see Poison Nova being picked up? You gotta be mindful of that. Leap coming on the Kel'Thuzad side. Follow up with the Falling Sword, and then Kel'Thuzad does go down. We see a Lava Wave coming up in the top wave, but likely not gonna get very, very little value as far as damage to the heroes on the side of Nerd Hunters. And it looks like, again, with 13s, Private Potato is going to have to back off and see what they can get value. And again, if you're Private Potato, you're almost 2 full levels down. And it's one of those where you just have to bite the bullet and say, hey, okay, if we try to contest this, right, we're not going to get much value. Where can we get value, right? Where can we create a win condition to get to 20 where we can win a fight and end the game? And this is something that I would say maybe is going on in their comms. You see them moving mid right away. Top lane, top tower likely gone. They are going to rotate up though. We do see Kel'Thuzad out again with 20 stacks, still at 8-9 minutes. Oh, that Deckard falling behind. Not able to get this thing. Wow, listen. Was that Blizzard Shield coming out? Yeah, no, not Blizzard Shield. The Leap coming out. Archon coming out. Able to get a 2-for-0 with a Frozen Punisher. Again, one of the strongest of the Punishers. Very easily. Being able to turn off towers, forts, and keeps. So just Multicore being popped early. Let's see if Rack is able to get some value and able to stop this from continuing. The Punisher is baited over. Now being focused. Looks like Nerd Hunters are going to be at least be able to get the wall and maybe part of the keep. Lava Wave, top wave again. I mean, if you... Oh, and Tasser is going to be going down right away. Being focused. It wasn't turned off by the Punisher in time. It was focused. And with that, Nerd Hunters are backing off. They were able to get about a third of the top keep. They're on even talents, even if they're 2 levels ahead. So, again, if you're Private Potato, you need to make up this ground. 16 is going to be online. I imagine the objective is not going to be ready. I would have been surprised if Private Potato tried to invade, but they have to do theirs first, and a little too late. Again, we have 25 stacks on the Kel'Thuzad side, being engaged on by the Sonya. Leap coming through. We do have the Kel'Thuzad trying to do his combo. Actually goes down to the Sonya, now spinning to winning. Deckard backing off. And all the members of Private Potato backing off overall. They're very low. They're down to talent here. It looks like Blaze likely gonna be going down. Sonya or Lucio still chasing a few members of the Private Potato. And it looks like now Nerd Hunters are sieging mid keep. And again, if you are Private Potato, you do have to be careful. With almost 3 levels behind, this is a pretty significant advantage, not just because of talents, because of levels. And I think if you're Zol going down, Dr. Soul trying to save the keep by going multi-core, gonna be able to save it for now. Blaze engaging. We do see Lava Wave toppling again. Nazebo getting a little bit low. I don't know if he got his ice block. And Kel'Thuzad not able to land the combo, and everybody on the side surprisingly gets away, and Lucio's able to help them escape quickly. Yeah, and again, if you're Private Potato, you're about to be 16s, even talent levels for about a level and a half. This is where you have to make your move if you're Private Potato, because once I get to 20, you're going to have about a level, maybe a level and a half that you're going to have to wait. We see the gauge on the bottom, surprisingly, on Nerd Herders. Kel's like putting the spike down, able to get the combo action on Tassiter, but does not actually get the complete combo. Blaze getting very low. Sonya leaping in, catching like 3 members from Private Potato. Then we do see the spooky hand ghost on the side of Nazebo, able to get a few members and secure a few kills. We do see have a 3 for none. And Nazebo focusing on the objective, while 4 other members of Nerd Herders focusing on the bottom lane, trying to soften it up for that Punisher. And again, Kel'Thuzad actually was able to complete the quest, but you might want to ask, if it was a little bit too late with 20s almost online for Nerd Herders, a very significant level advantage. As well as the siege camp being picked up by Nerd Herders. You do have the Punisher being picked up in it. What kind of Punisher is this? It just says Punisher, right? I did something wrong. We have Engage going on mid lane. Leap coming through. Rag trying to back off with the combo from the Kel'Thuzad. Molten Core coming through from Rag. We do see Blaze going down. Zol very low, but actually able to get Sonya. As well as with Lucio very low as well, going down to Kel'Thuzad, able to get damage, but the bottom keep taking damage and very likely going down. We do see Johanna going over. You have to be careful. I mean, at this point, I don't think I don't think you have to be there to secure it, but I felt they had to be there. Nazebo, Mosey on that Nazebo, kind of putting pressure on the top lane, and now we start seeing some of the shield going down. Nazebo still hanging around, bringing the core down to about 65%, and then backing off 55% now. So it looks like that's where it's going to be stopping right away. They're trying to invade and take the bridge comp. You have you have to go in right away. If you're Blaze, you have to go in. Oh, they're not able to secure that. Johanna able to be on the point and get away with the falling sword. Unfortunate. I would say this is where Private Potato, you have to go in. I mean, you're running out of resources as far as towers, keeps, and your core. You're only down to 54%. But now you're at a point where you have about over 3/4 of a level you have to make up. And so this is a very difficult time where if you are Nerd Hunters, you can't really go in until you get some sort of fight and you get a pick or two. And with a Rag, that makes it very difficult. Let's see what we have on 20s as far as on the side of Nerd Hunters. Heaven's Fury, Mixing Fire, Force Barrier, the level 20 for Nazebo being held in Composites Spear. And so we do have... Oh, you gotta be careful. You gotta be careful. Dr. Swole. Just wait. You just gotta wait. 1/4 of a level. Let him push in, right? You're almost there. And I guess recognizing that, Rag pops Molten Core, able to dissuade the push, and we do see the engage being stopped by the wall. Kel'Thuzad not able to do his combo. And the leap coming on the Zol, getting focused, but able to walk away, but Nova being popped. A lot of damage coming through. Rag now in trouble, and it looks like Rag is going to be going down. Not the hero you want, but actually the cooldown reduction for Kel'Thuzad coming through. Mosey very low, gets saved by the Lucio. We're kind of all over the place right now. We do have 20s being picked up by Private Potato. But the lanes are so pushed in that you gotta ask if they're gonna be able to do anything with this. We see they're still fighting. Oh, the combo landing. I think at this point, if you're Nerd Herders, you kind of have to respect that kill that combo a little bit. They get down the court, move the shield, get it down to 44%. But it looks like it's going to be backing off. On the side of Bright Potato, we do see Burn Notice, Bottomless Flask, Colon's Edict, which cooldown reduction on the ult, Might of the Scourge, and Heroic Difficulty, which I approve of. Heroic Difficulty is very good on Rag. We have Nerdhunters already with 14, 15, 16 monkey lead on the objective. I mean, right away, they recognize we have to go in and do something. Blaze engaging. The tasks are very low with only 19. Gets saved, barely. And Nerd Herders are able to turn this around. Kevlar goes down, but right away he turns around, but with the Zebo. With the penta kill, right? And it looks, with that, already they're going to be able to pick up that Punisher. We have about 40 seconds with all the members of Nerd Herders. And GG being called on the side of Private Potato. We do have game 2. We have game 2. And the match going over to Nerd Herders. And again, very strong showing. If we look at, first of all, the kill count, we do have 28-4. Very dominant on the side of Nerd Herders. Again, I give props to Private Potato showing a triple kind of front line to kind of help support that Kel'Thuzad. They were able to get it, but one of the weaknesses, like, obviously, of Kel'Thuzad is if they're able to get to Kel'Thuzad, he's not able to do as much work. So they tried to provide that again with a Deckard, a kind of a comp that would help support the Kel'Thuzad. But again, Nerd Hunter is able to take advantage of the matchup. And let's look at the damage. Tacitor being able to put quite a bit of damage. And we see actually Zol doing quite a bit of work there. And then behind that, Nazebo, Kel'Thuzad, Blaze, and Ragnar. So actually we see that overall we had Prime Potato doing more damage across the board. But then when we look at the healing, then we understand why they weren't able to get value, right? So even though Prime Potato was able to get more damage out across the board, we do see the Lucio being able to get a lot of healing, approximately 40k more. Not just that, but when you look at the self-healing, we have Sonya and Johanna get quite a bit of self-healing. As far as the offlane, Ragnar was obviously, you can press R and you'll always win the experience contribution. But overall with that and the Siege, was able to contribute quite a bit. But I would say with the Tacitor and the Zebo, able to counter that. So with this, let's see if we look at the real briefly. Let's see. I'm gonna see if I can get a member from a Nerd Herders to come online. I just switch and press buttons and try to talk to chat at the same time, which I'm not capable of. Because I guess if I join a lobby, someone will probably just join, right? That's probably it. Let's see if I'm friends with Mosley, so I'll just message Mosley. Okay, easy for me. So, again, Nerd Hunters showing why they were the #1 seed out of Division E West. But again, I'll give my applause to Private Potato. I liked their first comp initially, uh, but
Don't let
obviously,
me interrupt you. Go for it.
no problem. I was just kind of trying to fill in the space while one of you came over here and joined me. But first of all, again, congrats on your 2-0 against Domination in your first round matchup of the, I guess you could say, coastal bracket side of Division E with Division E West. So how are you feeling? Obviously,
Uh, yeah, we're feeling great. We're feeling great. We were a little worried when they started doing something a little off meta at the beginning. We're like, oh, do things make us nervous? So, but once we overcame that, I think we were feeling good.
right, and obviously, I'll try and get this pretty straightforward and to the point. We see that in game one, they gave you a very interesting look as far as comp, right? They went in with an all melee comp, bringing, I mean, a lot of heavy hitters with no healer though, and no like ranged. So, what were your thoughts when you first saw that particular comp?
Change scares us, and so we were a little sweaty about it. We're just like, oh God, should we worry about this? Are they just gonna CC us to death, and it doesn't matter how much healing we have? Like, is this something they've tried that we missed? Like, so we were a little worried. We we weren't playing particularly as sharp as we could right out the gate. Like, our healer went down trying to save Leoric, I believe it was. And we just knew, okay, fine, just everyone take a breath. Well, we long fights. Long fights are our friends.
Exactly that, and that's something I highlighted is, um, and actually what happened was early on they got like the first blood right, and I mentioned that even though it looks like quote a meme comp, you have to respect the firepower right early on, and right away we saw one of your members fall down. I forget who it was, but they went down early, and you have to respect that. You know, Variant and Kerrigan are very early game heroes, so if you give them the opportunity, you know, it could have, you know, it's one of those things. If you're not careful, can go bad, right? And but
For
I
sure,
didn't,
for sure.
and I did mention that Private Potato, they want fights to just end instantly. They want to go in, blow one or two of your members, up, and then leave, right? Because the longer that fight goes, as you said, it favors you. And overall, I think you did a very good job of maybe recognizing that, as you just mentioned, and you were able to kind of dictate your to get a double turn in. Um, Once you got the double turn in, what was the feeling, and what were the comms like on your side?
I think we were feeling good. Like, obviously, like, okay, we knew we had an advantage and we could push it, but I think we stayed pretty focused. Like, we didn't start goofing off or nothing. We just focused in on what we needed to do. Like, their way of winning was still the same. They needed to go find picks and stagger us at that point. Like, that's how they got back in it. So we just need to deny them that, and we just stayed sharp and on our game.
Right, and I think a very good job on your part where you recognized that and said, "Hey, we see what they need, and we see what they're trying to accomplish, and let's try
Oh, thank you.
try our best to avoid that." And it got to the point where again, with a melee heavy comp, I mean, it's like again, you're all in or not. You're able to get control of the map, and you overall made it very difficult for Private Potato to come back. And then you were able to take game one. So let's again talk briefly now about game two. It went to Infernal Shrines. This time you picked it, right? So Private Potato opted to get first pick. Obviously, the answer is, you know, if you picked it, it's a map that you like, right? It's kind of the obvious. And so here, right away, you do see the very first picks were, I believe, we had them get, oh, the Kel'Thuzad. So I saw that was the first ban. So it looked like that was something you were concerned about in the first match, and then went through just because they had first pick. You obviously had to kind of like pick your poison. When you saw the Kel'Thuzad, was there something that you kind of had to change in regards to how you were going to be drafting, or did you kind of say, hey, obviously we didn't ban it, we're kind of expecting the Kel'Thuzad to go through.
We didn't really have to change that much. Like we weren't expecting the Kel'Thuzad at all tonight, but you know Mosley, and he's all about the numbers and the scouting and all that. And when we logged on, we checked their profile real quick and saw that they've actually been doing a bunch of Kel'Thuzad. So that's why the ban went out first game. But second game, we just accepted that might happen. We're gonna stick with the support choke. If they do that to us, well, poop, and we'll just have to overcome. Like I very comfortable on the Johanna with falling sword to hopefully maybe get some unstoppable out there. Rusty, he's great on Lucio. He's got the high fives. Like they were putting in work all game, so we were halfway prepared for it. We had the tools we needed to overcome.
And so, what were your thoughts when you saw like a triple bruiser tank comp? I mean, that's a very beefy lineup. As I mentioned, as a Kel'Thuzad, that's kind of like what you want, right? You want to give space, and having triple bruisers helps give space to a Kel'Thuzad. So, what were your thoughts when you saw a triple bruiser lineup? And you're like, how do we get to that Kel'Thuzad? Because if a Kel'Thuzad gets free reign, it can make life very difficult to write for your team.
For sure. I hate to say it, it makes us sound kind of silly, but there was no plan to get to the Kel'Thuzad. It was just like, well, hopefully we just punish them when they make mistakes, and that's when we get them. Like, it wasn't like like the falling sword wasn't necessarily for an engage or anything like that. We're just gonna get them when they're out of position.
Right. I guess that's the right answer, right? We'll see we'll take what they give us. And they had a very good team with sieging, right? They had Rag, they had Blaze who can wave clear, they had Zol obviously has wave clear, so potentially they could have controlled a lot of the lanes. We didn't quite see much of that, but you also had your own counter that, right? You opted to go with a quote double mage with Tacitor and Nazebo, but obviously Nazebo very strong right now, even though he got slightly nerfed. Johanna, good, very way clear. Sonya, obviously very good on the point. So you yourselves weren't very far behind, but I did say I did like the draft on the part of Private Potato this time around. But again, you were able to get, you were able to secure the objective and work with it. You got very good value early on. So again, good job on your part and your team getting very good value. It's hard to get value, especially with it. You look at that lineup of Ragnar, Zol, and Blaze and Kel'Thuzad, and you're like, they're not going to get any value from that first Punisher, and you were able to get the first fort, right? And so they're very good, and from that you're able to build on that and continue. And from there, it seemed like they kind of again, they felt, I think it was like almost 3 levels at a point, right?
Right.
But my question would be this is very difficult, right? Because I think this is one of the hardest parts is when you get to about 3 levels ahead. What were you telling your team about, hey, even though we're 3 levels ahead, what's the plan for the rest of this particular match?
Jeez, it makes us sound like a bunch of friggin' scrubs off the street here. The plan was just take the punches as we go. We just win objectives, keep the lane pressure up. Like, we also had good wave clear. Just, they have the tools to deal with it, but if we can take away camps from them, if we take structures when they let us and just try and play a tight game, and that's how we're gonna win, because we weren't gonna out macro them with Ragnar's dual Blaze. Like, they just had that on lock. It was just kind of, we just needed to try our best to, we just needed to try our best, and luckily it worked out for us.
Yeah, obviously, it worked out with a very, to say the least, very luckily dominant performance, 28-4, able to secure the 2-0 domination in your first round playoff. So now looking at the brackets, I have it on the screen for now, but we're seeing that right now you're going to be facing the winner of the BH team and Liquid Metal. Again, myself, like I said, I mentioned earlier, we haven't had an opportunity to watch DFE West as much. But who are you keeping an eye on for the next match? Obviously, you can give the political answer, say, hey, we'll face whoever is next. But, obviously, you're going to keep an eye on that match. Who you think might be what you want someone you face, or someone that you would want to, as far as the next round, who do you think would be the team that you might want to face, or maybe because it challenged you, or just because you feel good about how you match up against them?
Well, I guess we're gonna watch out for both of them. We go into every match, no matter who we're against, with a healthy dose of respect, no matter what. We've squared off against Liquid Metal last season, and here we are again. So we have a ton of respect, a lot of overlap in the heroes we play. So we got to be really focused on our draft with them. But the A team, they really made us sweat last time we fought them too. Like I think that might have been one of our closer games in the season. So I mean, I'm gonna have to pick a poison and drink it no matter what, I
Yeah,
suppose.
I guess you could say we're just gonna face the team that's there, right? You can't really control that,
Yeah,
but
exactly.
great. But anyways, again, I'll let you head off, and before we go, I wanted to give you some time to give shoutouts at the end of the stream if you wanted to do so.
Yeah, I guess I just hand out the customary boilerplate shout out. I mean, I'd love to thank the other team, my team, the NGS staff, and all the work they put in, so that way we can have this opportunity and play. Thank you for casting. Um, Thanks to our coach, the glorious Hemo Santiago. Like we'd be nothing without him. uh and yeah, geez, just thanks everyone. Thank everyone's parents, their siblings, their neighbors, everyone.
Very nice. So again, with that, again, good luck with the rest of your matches. Hopefully, I'm able to cast some more. And again, enjoy the victory. And again, we'll maybe see you down the road. We'll see. As I mentioned to both of you, I was a former teammate of Mosley as well, and I'm in Division E East. So
Yeah, it'll be quite the
we'll
it'll be
see.
quite the battle if it comes to it.
We'll
I'm
see.
sure.
But anyways, enjoy the victory and have a good night. And again, for those of you who joined us today, oh, have a good night as well. I'm gonna see who I can pass you off. I think this is like one of the later matches for NGS. I don't think there's many other NGSs because this is the West Coast match. If not, I'll pass you over to a hot streamer for those of you who are still watching. But again, thank you very much for joining me, and I'll see you next time.
All right. Yeah. Well, thanks a bunch, and yeah, I guess good luck with your season as well, dude.
Yeah, thanks. And I'll see you around.
All right. Yeah, for sure. Peace.
Power beats.
Got him on the track, boy.
Okay? Okay?